the man in the black baseball cap is dead. His brother, the man in the white baseball cap, is still at large. And just a few moments ago, authorities asked residents of the entire city of Boston, all 600,000 of them, not to leave their homes. Good morning and welcome to the News Hub. I'm Rolf Winkler. Dramatic developments overnight in the Boston Marathon bombing case, including a fatal shooting of an MIT campus police officer, a carjacking, and a police chase and a shootout. To help us sort it all out, the Journal's Evan Perez joins us right off the top. Evan, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, we know a lot more about the two suspects. What can you tell us?
Well, we know that they're two brothers. They're Russian and that they are of Chechen backgrounds or descent. The FBI released pictures on Thursday evening, as you know, and apparently this generated a wave of tips from the general public. And then overnight, the series of events that you just described went down. And now the authorities have identified the brothers. One is named Tamerlan Tsarnaev, and he's 26 years old. He was killed in a confrontation with police. And the younger brother, Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, is on the loose. He is 19 years old, and he is the subject of a manhunt which has pretty much shut down the city of Boston this morning.
Okay, Evan, I want you to stay with us. I want to bring in Andrew Arena, a former FBI special agent in charge. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, let's get to this shutdown of the city of Boston. They have what they've put in place called a shelter-in-place order. They want all residents to stay in their homes. Really unprecedented.
Yeah, I've never seen anything quite like this in my 25 years in law enforcement. But I think what they're trying to do now, you've got a guy who's heavily armed, may have explosives on him, loose in that area. So I think they're trying to keep him on the run, not allow him to get into a location and get hostages, quite frankly.
Some of the images we've seen this morning, these are images from last night, are of SWAT teams, really any official you can imagine, surrounding the Watertown area of Boston, Watertown, Cambridge. It seems almost as if they're going house to house trying to find this person.
Well, that's what they're going to have to do. It looks like he was on foot the last time I saw him. So, you know, the theory is he's either barricaded himself in somewhere, or is trying to get into a location. So that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to. This is almost like house-to-house combat right now. And
as you said, this man could have a bomb on him. He is surely armed and dangerous, we think?
Yeah, they deemed him to be armed and dangerous before the shootout last night. Obviously, they shot it out with police. There's some reports that the older brother may have had some type of explosive device on him and actually had wounds from that when they took him to the hospital. So, you know,
okay,
you got to suppose he got one too. So. Okay,
Evan, stay with us, Andrew. Evan, I want to bring you back. For me, a huge question is, after this shootout, let's actually back up for everyone and remind everyone that the sequence of events here. We started with a robbery at 7-Eleven. That led to, after that, there was a campus shooting at MIT where a campus police officer died. There was a carjacking of a Mercedes SUV. Then a car chase during which explosives were thrown at police, and shooting that left a police officer in critical condition currently, and left man number one, the man in the black baseball cap, dead. My question for you, how did man number two get away?
Well, there was a very chaotic scene, obviously, an officer down. You know, it appears that these people were ready to fight. And so, you know, it was overnight, it was dark. And so it does appear that, you know, in Watertown where this confrontation occurred, one of these suspects was able to get away. And we know that the officers locked down the entire neighborhood and decided to wait at least until they had a little bit of the help of daylight to be able to try to do a better search. They're going house to house at this moment, we understand, and they're trying to figure out, you know, where this person is, trying to make sure he doesn't get away.
Andrew, I want to bring you back in for a moment. One thing as the manhunt continues, one thing that is probably very important is trying to capture man number two alive, correct?
Well, that's what you want to do. You know, I'm not so sure that's going to happen. Now, obviously, this kid, he's younger. Hopefully the older brother was the one who was a little bit more of a hothead and led this kid down the wrong path. So, let's hope they can do that, because he's going to be a treasure trove of information.
Yeah, indeed. And it's very interesting how this all played out last night. Walking into the 7-Eleven, there was the robbery there. Were these guys looking to get into some final last shootout or something, or call attention to themselves?
Well, it could be. I mean, it could be. Basically they were desperate. They obviously did not think this out too far. They didn't have the money, the getaway system. But so it could have been, hey, we're going on a blaze of glory. That could have been it. The key's going to be going back through their computers, their internet activity, and hopefully get this guy alive.
Okay, and by the way, what do we know about, well, tell us a little bit about Chechnya and the events that happen over there and how this may be related, if at all.
Certainly, and yeah, you know what, I certainly don't want to jump to any conclusions. We'll see how this all played out, but historically, Chechen rebels, some radical Sunni extremists have been doing battle with the Russians. There's basically what they deem to be a puppet government, and they've been fighting with the Russians. Do you remember a few years ago they took over the theater in Moscow and killed a bunch of people? Traditionally, many of the rebels trained at the Afghanistan camps of Al Qaeda, and there was always a close link. There's reports right now that there's Chechen rebels on the ground in Syria fighting. So they've been in Afghanistan fighting against U.S. troops, but their beef has never been with the United States. But as I said, you don't want to jump to conclusions. Now, these could have been just two kids who came here and became disenfranchised, and said there's nothing else to do. We're gonna do this. We're gonna make a name for ourselves. So we don't want to jump to conclusions, but there is a history there.